Hey guys, and welcome to Bug Watch with Swissley. That's me. I'm your Bioform boy, Davey, and this show, as you may already know, is all about Tyranids. We will look at last weekend's best performing lists at GT level before looking at a couple of lists that have been submitted for the weekend coming ahead. Some spicy takes, some interesting takes, all that kind of stuff. I want to hear what your thoughts are on the list that I'm sharing today. Pop them in the comments below. Any feedback, any ideas, I want to hear it. You can also follow me on Instagram at It's Swissley. But enough of all that stuff. Let's just get on with the lists. All right, first up, we have Matthew Langton from Ballers, pretty cool name. And he went 4-2, which was a 15th place out of 44 players. He's taken a Troop Axe of Omen with High Fleet Gordon, using the adaptive, which is to reroll a wound. He starts with 3 CP as well. So what's his list about? He's got 3 Zone Thrups with Psychic Scream. So they are absolutely savaging things. They're very aggressive squad of Zone Thrups there. We all know what they do. We then move into a Hive Tyrant. The Hive Tyrant's got Adrenal Glands and Toxin Sacs because, you know, what's better than smashing things? Auto wounding. He also has the Lash Whip and Bone Sword, so he's also re-rolling a hit there, or re-rolling ones to hit rather, with a decent enough strike. We've got Neuroparasite and Onslaught here. Interesting one with Neuroparasite, as the Hive Tyrant doesn't natively get any pluses to its cast, so trying to get it off on a 7 is pretty difficult. But it's nice to have it there as a contingency. It's Neuroparasite. Someone described it the other day as that spell I always just do last minute, or the spell that I forget that I've got and then I use it. It's absolutely amazing against a lot of toughness 3 stuff, and I build it into every list I have. I think it's awesome. He's got Onslaught there as well. A bit of contingency there for the Neurothrop that's got it as well. If that wants to die, he's still got it on the Hive Tyrant. The relic that he has got, and you're going to see this in a lot of lists in this episode, is Shard Gullet, because people love blasting the crap out of stuff. Turns out strength 12 -5, 5 damage, pretty sweet. We then have the Swarm Lord. Now, the Swarm Lord is a great character at the moment, but he very much is a buff character. He's got swords. It's pretty cool, but for the most part of the game, he's not doing a great deal. So what is this Swarm Lord doing in this list? He is buffing the crap out of these Hormigans. He has reroll, the ability to give a unit reroll hits, and Obsec, or if they already have Obsec, double Obsec. So he's putting it on these Hormigans, which we'll get into in a second, and buffing them to the 9s. We've then got a Neurothrope with the Horror and Onslaught. Also, the Warlord trait directs guidance. So what have we got here? Obviously, all these spellcasters have the ability to cast the Gorgon spell, which is 6s to wound do mortals. That is quite a difficult spell to get off. It's a 7. So I think the Neurothrope is probably casting that more often than not. We also have he's got the Horror, which is, you know, I think more and more useful as I've used it personally. But he's also getting off Onslaught, which might be going on the Malice Scepter, it might be going on the Lictor as well, just to try and get them into deployment zones and into your opponent's face. Direct guidance is interesting here. You can obviously give the Hormigans +1 to hit for a 3s to hit Hormigan. The Lictor's already hit on 2, so it's probably not relevant for them. The Malice Scepter does hit, but it always hits on 3. So if you can give it to that, I'm not sure if you can. That'd be very useful. You could also maybe give it to the Exocrine. I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't think you can, but if you could, that'd be pretty sick. So yeah, interesting one there. Right, let's go into what the meat and potatoes of this list is. 3 times 15 Hormigans, and they all have adrenal glands and toxin sacs. Normally in Gorgon lists, you will see the toxin sacs. That's because Hormigans have there's 15 Hormigans. They all have 3 attacks each. That's 45 attacks. Toxin sacs makes them auto wound on 6s. The 1 CP stratagem for Gorgon makes them auto wound on 5s. Very good. And brings out an average of a 15 auto wounds. Now, the Swarm Lord, this is where he comes in. He's going to say, yo, you get to reroll your hits, Hormigans. So then they will get an average of 25 auto wounding hits, which is awesome. So you think that's what I've been doing in my list, to be completely frank. But what's interesting about the adrenal glands, 2 different things the adrenal glands do here. The first one is you can use a CP to give them 15 extra attacks for the entire squad, right? Well, 1 for every model in the unit. What's nice about that is it takes you 25 auto hits in that scenario that I mentioned before, and it actually goes to about 32, 33 auto wounding hits, which is awesome, pretty good. Also, there's another nice little thing it does. So, with the attacks that are not successful, right? The fours, when you roll to hit and you roll a 4 and it doesn't auto wound, but it goes through, you're wounding everything on 4s unless it's a vehicle or Titanic model. And that really sucks when you're in games against knights, things like that. What the adrenal glands do is they give them +1 strength, and that means you'll be wounding them on 5s. So it's a little bit better. Also, it gives them another inch on their engagement rate, on their threat range, rather. So that's a 29-inch threat range with the 1 CP strat to auto advance and charge. So lots of cool different things here about these Hormigans. They've got a little bit more, I want to say, flexibility than your regular 15 Hormigans with toxin sacks. We've then got the 3 Tyranid warriors who probably sit on the backfield and guard an objective and growl at anything that comes near them. One of the cool things I think that you can do in a list like this is pop a heavy venom cannon, not heavy venom cannon, a regular venom cannon into this Tyranid warrior list. Then you can use the stratagem 1 CP for shard lure to get you 3d6 dropping the lowest on your charge, which is super nice. That really helps those Hormigans sometimes need to have a 9-inch charge or an 8-inch charge or even a 6 that you do not want to fail, just helps them be a little bit more successful. We've then got 2 lictors. They help people charge as well. But I think what these guys are doing is helping him score behind enemy lines. So obviously they can deep strike, and they have some weird kind of deep strike rules where you have to do it near terrain. But overall, it's quite difficult to screen out a base that small. You then got a Maliceptor with Catalyst and Neuroparasite. Interesting choice on Catalyst. I think a lot of people sometimes take the Neuroparasite and Psychic Scream, and that's because they just want to max out the efficiency in terms of how many mortals it can do. It can still do a ton of mortals with Catalyst because it could just cast Smite and Neuroparasite, and it could just do the same amount of mortals. But interesting one having Catalyst there. I think that's just a bit of contingency in case the Swarm Lord were to die. You then got the Parasite and Mortrex. Again, quite tasty into the Knight matchup, by the way, for 80 points. No relic of Alien Cunning on it. So I feel like he's just using it either to throw into the opponent's deployment zone for behind enemy lines, but also it can take away OBSEC from things that maybe the Hormigans are trying to steal it from. Or in case of Knights, if they come into your objectives, you can just take away the OBSEC and then take it back from them. Then finally, you've got an Exocrine. I'm not sold on the Exocrine myself. I really want to. I think it's cool. It's a massive cannon on top of a massive monster. How can you not want that to work? But it's a tricky one. Against any other shooting armies, if they go first, it dies. If then you bring it on as reserve instead, so you say, right, okay, I'm against Tar. I'm just going to bring it on from strategic reserve. Comes in, you're at -1 to hit because it moved. You can spend a CP and make it not -1 to hit, but then you use the CP as well. So it's tricky. I would love to speak to Matthew about how this worked and how it went for him. He seems to have done very well going 4-2. So congratulations, Matthew Langton, on your 15th out of 44 place. Well done. All right, next list. So we have Danny Stewart of Mom's Basement Gaming, who came 16th with another 4-2. Very nice. He's chosen elites, and he has a behemoth list with territorial instincts, which means his big monsters have OBSEC. So he's got 2 Hive Tyrants because cool, you would. I get why that is a thing. They're both pretty much similarly kitted out in terms of their melee weapons. The difference really here is the Psychic Scream and the spell, well, the spells really are the different thing, as well as the cannons. So they both have the different relic weapons. Balethorn for one, Shadgullet for the other. So he looks to be shooting at stuff. We've got Toxin Sacks there as well. So just make things. I think in a list like this, it's probably just at 10 points left. Anyone else, sack it. We'll just put Toxin Sacks on the Hive Tyrant. I might be wrong. It might actually be the key to the entire thing, and I've missed it. Who knows? We then have a Neurothrope who's casting Catalyst and Onslaught. 2 easy spells to get off when you got +1 to cast. Love it. Then, what Danny likes. Danny, some people know what they like, right? And Danny Stewart, he likes Tyranid Warriors, and he likes Morlocks as well. He was like, I want the old days to come back of having loads of Tyranid Warriors absolutely battering your opponent. So he took 2 blobs of 9 Tyranid Warriors with adrenal glands, flesh hooks, 3 heavy venom cannons to blow the crap out of stuff, and the rest of them have devourers and rending claws. So very nice. They are going up there. They get +1 to their strength on the charge. They fight on death. They still are an issue for your opponent to deal with. So nice one there. He's then got 10 Gene Stealers. Again, really nice on the fight on death with 4 attacks each at -3 AP. Really nice. If they charge or they're in the first round of combat, which either most likely will be, because they've only got 1 wound, they're either dying or not dying, essentially. Really nice in terms of fight on death targets. And then the rest of it is Pyrovores, Tyrant Guard defending his 2 Hive Tyrants, and then 3 Zone Throw-Ups, again, just to get those mortals out there. Nice use of Neuroparasite here. They're obviously going to be moving forward with the rest of the army and trying to pick off some chaff that might be in the way of the Warriors getting to what they want to get to. And then he wants those behind enemy lines. He's got those Morlocks coming in, both of them with Toxin Spikes, and one of them with Synaptic Enhancement, probably to give the other one the Sixes Explode imperative that the Warriors will give them. So what this list feels like it's doing is turn 1, it's reasonably relaxed. It's getting its deck chair out, maybe putting some banners up, just chilling out a little bit. Put some Morlock counters down, bit of staging. Maybe the Gene Stealers are forward deploying and getting in there for the first round of behind enemy lines. Yeah, okay. Then turn 2, it turns into a mosh pit from a festival. You're right in the middle of your opponent's deployment zone. Your Morlocks are going in there, blowing things to pieces. You've got 18 Tyranid warriors trying to get in there. And then after all that kind of calmed down, turn 3 or turn 4, you've still got Hive Tyrants and Pyros just moving up to kind of mop up the mess. So really nice. Danny chose violence here, and I'm pretty happy for him going 4-2. I think it's a very strong performance. All right. Next list, we have Chris Lanier. So this is an interesting one. It's a bit of a monster mash, but it's not OBSEC monsters. You usually associate OBSEC monsters with this kind of list, but Leviathan, what it does instead is it makes your monsters very durable. So your monsters are all mini transhuman or transhuman if they're a character, and he's kept the adaptive here. So all of these Carnifexes with heavy venom cannons are rerolling 1 hit. As well as the Hive Tyrant, who has the Shard Gullet, as we mentioned before. So just makes them really reliable and really durable. So it's a nice combo. I like this list because it's durable, it's fast, and it shoots. It's pretty cool. The chaff allows you to either screen combat armies away from you, or hold, or if you want to get forward, they can screen out your back line and stop people coming in. That's one great thing about Gargoyles, is they just take up so much space. And your opponent probably doesn't want to shoot 10 Gargoyles when they've got the best part of 5 Carnifexes, a Maleceptor, and a Hive Tyrant running at them. So let's just quickly run through it. So we've got the Hive Tyrant with the Shard Gullet and Adaptive Biology. So it's not gonna die as easy because he hasn't got Tyrant Guard here. So it's targetable. So if they aim for it, he can keep it alive a bit longer. We've got a Neurothroat with Neuroparasite and Onslaught, get those Carnifexes into combat, or the Hive Tyrant into combat. Then Tyranid Prime. I have time for the Prime in this list. It's very good because you just say, right, 6s explode, shooting, let's go. And all of these Carnifexes will shoot with 6s to explode. When you've got that reroll and you reroll 1 into a 6, best feeling in the world. So yeah, very nice here. You've got all the chaff that I mentioned before. You've got a Maleceptor just to do mortals where, something maybe is a bit harder to take down. You've got the Zone Throw-Ups, which will do the same as well. And then obviously all these Carnifexes. And last but not least, the Exocrine with Dermic Symbiosis. So you can start on the battlefield, take a few shots perhaps, maybe not against Tau, but against other things. Take a few shots and still survive. Yeah, really like this. And of course, Chris went 4-1. He came 4th at his event at the Savannah Showdown. He doesn't have a team, so if you're in America and you're looking for someone with Tyranid expertise, maybe give this guy a ring because he did very well. All right, so let's look at some lists for next week. Okay, so Christopher Viori, hope I'm saying that right, pal. He's going to the Viking Invasion at Ragnarok, or Viking Invasion Ragnarok. Ladies and gentlemen, Christopher here, he chose violence. He's absolutely chosen violence. He's marching 2 untargetable Hive Tyrants up the board alongside 8 Screamer Killers that are getting the benefit of light cover because of the Spore Cysts. He's trying to keep them alive, and he's going to get you. a word of advice to Chris's opponents. You have 1 turn to shoot him. After that, good luck, because he's going to be in your face. One of the tyrants even has the Reaper of Obliterax. Yeah, he dug that up out of Nephilim. He went back to Nephilim, got his shovel out, dug out the Reaper of Obliterax, and he's ready to go. He also has +1 to charge from Augmented Ferocity, which is very nice. Just makes those charges a little bit more reliable. It seems to be like a small event that he's going to, but it's a really diverse field. There's 2 Goth lists in there as well, which will be a wonderful little fight. So best of luck to Christopher going into this weekend. All right, the next list we have Ben Gold from the Yorkshire West Coast Raiders, and he's going to the event Search for Scarborough Falls. Very cool name there. High five to the person that thought of that. Big fan. He's taken heavy support. He's got Leviathan with the adaptive to reroll hits as well. So this list is an interesting one. It does a few different things. It's very interesting. I'm very interested to see how it performs. I've picked it out for its commitment to Psychic, because I think that a lot of lists in the past from Tyranid players have been like, yeah, we need to double down into Mortals because that's what we do. That's gone away a lot as a lot of the nerfs have come in. But Ben went, no. I want all the Mortals. I want to Mortal everything. So he's what he's gone here for is the big thing to pick out, double Maleceptor. I love it. I love it. I would absolutely give this a go if I didn't have to pay for another Maleceptor in terms of cash, because I just don't want to spend it on a Maleceptor, especially when probably this Malaconceptrix or whatever it is that's coming out or been rumored to come out for 10th. God, it's tough decisions being a Tyranid player. There's so many data sheets, which is awesome, but at the same time, you have to pay for them all. Anyway, so we've got 2 Maleceptors, we've got 3 Zoanthropes doing Mortals here. I think there's a Spore Nodes playing here as well. So he's got lots of chaff in terms of 10 Gargoyles, 10 Hormagaunts, and 2 times 10 Termagants. Those min squads of chaff will probably just try and sneak in, maybe do some Spore Nodes, get some points in that way. I've never been able to make Spore Nodes reliably work all the time myself, but good luck to Ben here if that's what his plan is. Also, I've got a lot of time for this interesting combination of the horror and the Screamer Killers. So the Screamer Killers going in, killing stuff, minus in leadership, getting the horror from the Maleceptor that's ran up the board onto one of those units that it's going to that the Screamer Killers are charging. How many minuses can you get in leadership? I want to see it happen. And if Ben does listen to this, please tell me what the best leadership modifier you got through this weekend. I think it would be really fun to just make like Custodies run away with all these different modifiers. So I'll be keeping an eye on the scoring for this one. Again, I'm not sure about if Spore Nodes is a reliable one, if that's what he's indeed going for. I'd love to know what he's doing. Maybe it's even just R&D, to be fair, because he can get the Gargoyles into one of his enemies' side of the board, and the other squads can easily do it on his side. So be really interesting. Ben, if you're out there, let me know what you did here. Anything else that's interesting? Tyrannofex, it's the only list with the Tyrannofex this week. That's quite interesting. Well, only one that I've pulled out really, but yeah, really interesting. Because last week we had loads of Tyrannofexes in with all that big monster mash. Seems like this week it's the week of the Execrate. But yes. All right, let's. That's the list for this week. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching and listening. Big thank you to all the generals that I featured today. If you've got any comments, do let me know. That was one of my favorite things about doing the show last week, was everyone who I mentioned nearly got in touch and gave some commentary on their list. I absolutely love it. And thanks everyone for all the nice comments too. For you, those of you going into this weekend's games, best of luck. I'll be rooting for you. Let's go Hive Mind. Thank you very much.